In previous videos, we've spoken about how choosing a sample that best represents the population is crucial to ensure that it's not biased. So today we're going to talk about random sampling, methods that we use to conduct random sampling, and the words random and unbiased are going to come up quite a lot in this video. Okay, please remember to review your flashcards. I'll pause the video now and spend 5 minutes reviewing them prior to starting this. It is never time wasted. In fact, it's wasting time learning the content to then forget it. So if you can just put in that 5 minutes now, it will go a long way to help you. So random sampling, flashcard time please, and a random sample at the front of the flashcard please, random sample at the front, and then in a random sample everyone has an equal chance of being chosen. You may have a class of 30, the probability of one person being picked in that class is 1/30. Everyone has an equal chance. Please write that as a flashcard, pause before you go to the next video. So we need to speak about methods that we can use to take a random sample. It's necessary to learn more than one method because sometimes one method won't be suitable for the situation you are in. If I ask a class of students, before I've taught this topic, how would you take a random sample? This one is heard a lot. Hat. Okay, they say, Miss, I'd put my names in a hat and I'd pick the names out from a hat, and that's certainly a way of generating a random sample, but that's not going to work all the time. Imagine you had a population of 3,000 people. Are you really going to be wanting to put 3,000 names in a hat to pick one out? No. But if in a small sample size, it would be absolutely fine. So put everyone's name or number in the hat, mix them up, select people's name, number from the hat. Okay, mixing's important to make sure that it's dispersed and everyone has that equal chance. So that's your method number one. Now, for the other remaining methods, and also for the hat method, assigning everyone a number in the population. So giving every member of your class a number, giving every member of the school a number, anyone who's in your population, giving them a number is the crucial first point. Okay, remember to pause this video to write any notes as you're going along. Right, so that's method number one, as I've said, suitable for a smaller population. Okay, the next method is using something called a random number generator, which I'm going to go over shortly. So if you've given everybody a number, you can then use a random number generator in order to then generate a series of random numbers. Now that can be as simple as using a website to do so. Okay, Google has its own random number generator, or there are websites that are random number generators. You can literally just put in the numbers that you want to go between and to get your answer. I've got an example of one here, look. So random number generator, imagine you have 100 people in your population, so you want to generate a number from 1 to 100. And you might say you want 5 numbers. Start. Okay, you've got 5 random numbers. So if you've given everybody in the population a number from 1 to 100, you would then assign these numbers back to those people. And these are 3-mark questions, and there's 4 marks. There's 4 key points you need to put for these questions. So I'm going to go over that shortly with you. So random number generator, this is what you need to do. Number 1, assign everyone in the population a number. First mark. Generate random numbers using the random number generator. This is your next point. You have to say all of this. Link the number chosen back to the person. So link 42, if 42 came up, link that back to the person who's got the number 42 on the list. And really importantly, this is needed, ignore duplicates. If you had 2 number 42s, if 42 came up twice, you'd have to ignore that duplication of 42 and go on to the next and choose somebody different. Okay, if not, you're not going to have enough people in your sample. So a 3-mark question, 4 points. 1, assign everyone in the population a number. 2, generate the numbers. 3, link it back to the population. 4, ignore duplicates. And even better, generate random numbers using the random number generator between numbers 1 to 1,000, for example. So however big your population is, get that in there as well. Doesn't hurt. Okay. Other way that we can do it, the third way then that you need to know about, because you might be asked to use one, is how to use a random number table. And that's what I'm going to go over in the next slide. Now, a random number table looks like this. And it's a table of random numbers. So you may be asked to start, for example, I'm just trying my pen, you may be asked to start on the second row on the third column, for example. So second row, third column would be here. And if you were generating numbers between 1 and 100, hopefully it makes sense that you would need to pick 3-digit numbers, because if not, you're never going to get the number 100. So this is quite a tricky example because not very many are going to come up, but your first number would be 768. We'd have to discount that because it's over 100 if we only wanted people between 1 and 100. The next one would be 315. Once again, you discount it. 867. Nope, no one was going to be that high. You keep going, look. So 887. Nope. Oh, 54. There you go. That is your first random number that you have generated between 1 and 100 using the random number table. Okay, so that's how you use that, and you may be told where to start or that you need to generate those digits. So generate random numbers using the random number table. Discount, that means ignore any that are outside your population size, as we did here. 768 was above our population size. Link the number chosen back to the person. I think it should also say on there, or it does, look, ignore those duplicates. Duplicates are no good. Right, so one other way that you can generate random numbers is using your calculator. Now, I appreciate all calculators are different, but here can you see I've got rand, that stands for random number. And if I press random and equals, it will generate you a decimal, a number between, well, less than 1, a number between 0 and 1. If you times that by your population size, say it was 100 in this instant, you can then round it to your nearest number. So 43 would be the first number. So you can use the random number generator on your calculator. You don't necessarily need to know how to use it, but just the knowledge that it's there. Okay. Okay, so how would we answer a question like this? Gianluca is a farmer. He has 480 cows. Gianluca wants to take a random sample. Oh, look, 20 cows. That's nice. A random sample of 20 cows. Describe a method that Gianluca could use. If we're going for the random number sampling, I mean, names in a hat would be interesting. With cows, how would you assign the cows a number? But it's got to be done. I guess they have tags, etc. on them. So he has 480 cows. Describe the method. How are you going to get your 3 marks on this question? Number 1, you're going to assign every cow in the population a number. Step 2, you're going to use a random number generator to generate a list of 20 random numbers between 1 and 480. Can you see how we've got the population size in there now? Okay, there's 480 cows, so it's going to be between 1 and 480. You're going to write ignore the duplicates. Okay, we don't want 2 duplicated numbers, 3 even, because you'd have less than the 20 that you need. Ignore the duplicates and link the random number back to the cow that has been assigned that number. Okay, and that is how you get 3 marks on that type of question. As I said, just be careful with the method you're using. Don't learn it as a one-size-fits-all, because in some situations that might not be a suitable method. A hat method might be more suitable. Okay, so that's random sampling. Make sure you have got the notes that you need for that. And it's the best way, it's the best method to try and ensure that you've got a sample that best represents the population.